Experimental verification of uncertainty principle, a thought experiment. It is also known as Heisenberg's gamma ray microscope. In this experiment, we are trying to verify the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which states that when we try to make simultaneous measurement on position and momentum of a given particle, then the product of uncertainties or errors in the measurement of these two quantities is always greater than or equal to h cross by 2, where h cross is h by 2 pi and h is the Planck's constant. Now, the particle considered here is the electron, and electromagnetic waves or radiations of suitable frequency are selected. And in this case, because the size of the electron is very, very small, so gamma radiations are selected for this particular case. In our everyday life, how do we observe things? We use visible light to observe the things in our everyday life. On any object, when the light radiations fall, they get scattered in different directions, and some of the photons or light rays fall in our eyes or on the detecting instrument, and we observe or make any measurements on the given object. So the wavelength of the visible radiations of the electromagnetic spectrum is suitable in detecting the objects because their size is suitable that they can be observed with the help of these radiations. But it is not the case when we try to measure the position and momentum of an electron, because the size of the electron is much, much smaller than any object we come across in our routine. Because the size of the electron is very small, so the wavelength of the light used to observe it should be very small, and hence gamma radiations are considered. Now, position of the electron we are measuring in along x direction. Say the position at any instant is x and its momentum along the same direction is px. And delta x is the error or uncertainty in the position along x direction, and delta px is the error or uncertainty in the measurement of momentum component along x direction. Now, it is again the same which I have discussed, that to see anything we need radiations, electromagnetic radiations. In routine, the visible light we use, the photons fall on the object, they get scattered, enter our eyes, we see or observe with the help of some instrument, say a microscope. If the particle size is very small, we need radiations instead of visible light. So we need radiations which are very small wavelength. This can be understood in terms of resolving power of the detecting instrument, the microscope in this case. Delta x equal to lambda by 2 sine theta, where delta x is the resolving power, also called the resolution of the instrument. For better resolution, delta x should be small. Small delta x means the wavelength used should be very small, and theta should tend towards 90 degree, so that sine theta approaches its maximum value, which is 1. So to minimize delta x, lambda should be minimized and sine theta should reach its maximum value, that is 1, or theta should tend to 90 degree. Now, why do we want to reduce delta x? Because for an instrument to have high resolving power, it must be capable of forming distinct and clear images of two very nearby objects. Then we will say the instrument is having very high resolving power. So now what is theta here? Theta is the semi-vertical angle of the cone of light entering the lens of the microscope from the object, the scattered photons which are being scattered by the object. This I am going to explain in detail with the help of the diagram. Now, as the photons strike the particle, electron in this case, some momentum of the photons, which is h by lambda gets transferred to the electron. Its position gets disturbed. That means the position which we are measuring now, that will not be the exact position. Rather, we are measuring a position which has some error. So when the photons are used to detect the position of the electron, it causes error in the measurement of its position, which was the exact one. Now the amount of momentum transferred to the electron depends upon the angle of recoil of the electron and angle of scattering of the photon. It can be understood with the help of this diagram, which is explained using the Compton effect. This is the incident photon. The electron is considered to be at rest. When the incident photon interacts with the electron, partially its momentum, say, is transferred to the electron gets recoiled in a particular direction. Say the direction of recoil is given by angle beta, and the direction of scattering of the photon is alpha. So a photon of higher wavelength goes along this direction. So alpha here is the angle of scattering of the photon and beta angle of recoil of electron. The angle alpha and beta are related by this equation. This we have done in case of Compton effect, complete explanation of the Compton scattering, that tan beta is equal to cot alpha by 2 divided by 1 plus h nu divided by m naught c square, where nu is the frequency of the incident photon and m naught is the rest mass of the electron. So this is the relation between alpha and beta, means if the photon gets scattered at a particular direction, then accordingly the direction of recoil of the electron will also change, and this will lead to a change in their momenta also. The momentum exchanged between the two particles will also depend upon how alpha and beta values are changing. Here I am explaining it with the help of this diagram in a bit more detail, that the incident photons, here only one photon is shown, but actually large number of photons will be there. When they interact with this electron, after falling on this, they will be scattered in all possible directions, and depending upon at what angle the scattered photon goes, the angle of recoil of the electron will also change, and accordingly the loss of momentum by the photon will be the gain in momentum of the electron. So the two are related. Here let us see what is this angle theta now, which we have used in the resolving power delta x equal to lambda over 2 sine theta. So this is the angle theta. This 2 theta is the angle of this cone in which all the photons scattered within the extreme of this cone, they all are entering in the microscope, and only those photons are contributing to the measurements of position and momentum. With the help of those photons only, we are capable of measuring the parameters related to the electron. So angle ABC here is 2 theta, and it is the angle subtended by the aperture of the lens of the microscope at the position of the electron. The electrons and photons can go along various directions, and we observe the electron only due to these photons which are moving along this cone. The change in momentum of the photon will be equal to the change in momentum of the electron. The loss of momentum of the photon is the gain in momentum of the electron. So the range in which the photon momentum changes, in the same range the momentum of the electron will change, and hence its x component of the momentum will show variation accordingly. And from there we will calculate the error in the measurement of the momentum of the electron along x direction and its position. In the diagram, we can see the angle of scattering of the photon which are going along the cone, that alpha can change between angle CBD and angle ABD. That means the angle alpha varies between 90 minus theta, this direction, and the angle 90 plus theta. This angle is 90 degree and this angle is plus theta. If it is along this direction, then it is minus theta, 90 minus theta. So by applying the law of conservation of momentum along x-axis, before the interaction, the momentum along the x direction is possessed only by the photon because the electron is considered to be at rest for that moment. So h nu by c is the momentum of the incident photon. Say nu prime is the frequency of the scattered photon. Then the momentum component of the photon along x direction will be h nu prime over c cos alpha, and mv cos beta is the momentum component of the recoil electron along x direction. Say we represent it by px. So px equals mv cos beta, and from equation 4 it is h over c into nu minus nu prime cos alpha. But alpha is changing between 90 minus theta to 90 plus theta. Using this range of alpha, we can say that px will change between the limits h by c nu minus nu prime cosine of 90 minus theta to h by c into nu minus nu prime cosine of 90 plus theta. Or you can say the range in which px can vary, that is delta px, which is the difference between these two extreme values. Cos 90 plus theta and 90 minus theta have been converted in terms of sine of the angle. So it is, finally simplifying, we get delta px as 2h by c nu prime sine theta. Now the frequency of the scattered photon and the incident photon. Here is the nu value only. It is not nu prime. Nu and nu prime are nearly considered to be nearly same because there is not much variation. Using nu prime, now instead of nu prime, using nu here, we will get delta px in terms of lambda. So delta px we get 2 times h over lambda sine theta. From equation 1, delta x we already know by the formula for resolution for the given instrument or resolving power, and that gives us an error in the measurement of the position. Because if the electron moves anywhere in this distance, the instrument will not be able to distinguish whether it has shifted from one position to the other. So this delta x, because the instrument cannot resolve to the values which are smaller than this delta x. So this gives us the uncertainty in the measurement of position of the electron along x direction. So delta x is lambda over 2 sine theta. Now we can see from these two equations, if we want to minimize the error in the measurement of position of the electron, then we need to reduce lambda and increase sine theta. And if we want to reduce the error in the measurement of momentum, we need to decrease the value of sine theta and increase the value of lambda. So the two are contrary to each other. If we want to measure precisely the position of the electron, then the error in the measurement of its momentum component increases, and vice versa. So all this is shown here mathematically, and finally we get, multiplying these two equations, that delta x into delta px is equal to lambda over 2 sine theta into 2h by lambda sine theta, and it comes out to be h, and this is greater than h cross by 2. So this result of the experiment Heisenberg's gamma ray microscope. With the help of this thought experiment, we get this result, which is in agreement with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, and hence it verifies the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.